Imagine a day where everything feels strangely familiar, as if you've walked through this moment before, but in a slightly altered form. It's as if you're not just living your life, but experiencing the echoes of another existence, another path you might have taken. This feeling, this tug on your awareness, might be more than just a trick of the mind. It could be a signal from another version of you, a parallel self that exists in a different reality. Quantum physics and spiritual teachings together propose that we are far more connected than we can consciously perceive, and this connection may span multiple dimensions and timelines. The idea that there could be infinite versions of you living out different scenarios stems from the quantum theory that reality is not a singular, fixed entity. Instead, every decision you make branches off into a new world, creating a multiverse of possibilities. In each of these worlds, there's a version of you who made a different choice, took a different road, or embraced a different passion. While these versions may be separate in one sense, they could also be intertwined in ways that defy our linear understanding of time and space. The subtle interplay between these selves may give rise to sensations, thoughts, and experiences that we often dismiss as mere coincidences. But what if they aren't just random occurrences? What if these are signs from another reality, guiding you, urging you to pay attention? Consider those times when you felt a strong intuition, a deep knowing that doesn't seem to come from your current experiences or knowledge. This feeling may be a signal, a message from a parallel self who has already faced the choices you are about to encounter. It might be a push towards a certain direction, a warning to avoid a potential pitfall, or even an encouragement to seize an opportunity that seems irrational but feels right. You might feel this nudge most strongly during times of heightened emotional or spiritual activity. It could come during meditation, when your mind is calm and your awareness expanded, or during intense dreams where reality seems to blur and meld with something else, something that feels both foreign and familiar. These dreams are not always easy to decipher. They may appear as symbolic, fantastical journeys, but within them might lie messages from another you, trying to impart wisdom or share an experience from their reality that could help you in your own. Think about those unexpected moments of clarity, when a solution to a problem suddenly appears in your mind, or when you gain a profound understanding that seems to arrive from nowhere. This could be more than your brain making a creative leap. It might be the merging of consciousness across dimensions, an insight transmitted from another version of you who has already solved the issue you are grappling with. This exchange could happen because, at a quantum level, consciousness is not bound by the physical laws that govern the material world. The phenomenon of déjà vu, for example, could be an indication that you are briefly aligning with another reality, experiencing a moment that mirrors an event happening in another timeline. It's that eerie sensation that you've been here before, even though you know you haven't. But if we consider the multiverse theory, then perhaps you have, in another version of existence. This version of you may be trying to connect, to remind you of a choice you made elsewhere, or to offer comfort in a difficult time. You may also encounter these signs in more concrete ways. Imagine you have a sudden, unexplainable urge to visit a place you've never been, or to reconnect with someone from your past. This could be your parallel self reaching out, suggesting a course of action that will bring about growth or healing. Or think about when you stumble upon a book, a movie, or even a random conversation that seems to speak directly to a question or doubt you've been struggling with. These are moments of synchronicity, where the outer world reflects an inner state, a hint that there is a larger design at work. It's important to pay attention to recurring themes or patterns that show up in your life. Numbers, symbols, animals, and even certain people may repeatedly cross your path, each carrying a significance that resonates deeply within you. These might not just be random occurrences. They could be a form of communication, a language of signs that your parallel self uses to reach you. When the same number appears repeatedly, when you keep seeing the same animal in different contexts, or when a phrase keeps coming back to you, ask yourself what message is being conveyed. Quantum entanglement provides a scientific foundation for this. It shows that particles that were once connected can continue to influence one another, no matter how far apart they are. If our consciousness, our souls, are like these particles, then the distance between parallel versions of ourselves is not an obstacle. These connections may operate on a level that our conscious mind cannot fully grasp, but they are nonetheless real, whispering to us through symbols, intuition, and synchronicity. You might also feel these connections on a deeper emotional level. Have you ever experienced a sudden surge of emotion that seemed to come from nowhere? A wave of sadness, a burst of joy, or an unexplained sense of peace? These emotions could be reflections, echoes of what another version of you is feeling. When a parallel self experiences a powerful emotion, that energy might ripple across the dimensions, touching you, affecting your mood, and leaving you wondering where it came from. If you can learn to tune in to these emotional signals, you might start to decipher the messages embedded within them. Similarly, there might be times when you feel physically drawn to a certain place or compelled to engage in an activity that seems out of character. You might have a sudden, intense interest in learning a new skill, traveling to a distant country, or diving into a new philosophy. These urges might not be random. They could be driven by the experiences or knowledge of a parallel self who has walked that path before you. By acting on these impulses, you might be aligning yourself with a higher purpose or tapping into a well of knowledge that comes from beyond your current reality. Consider also the strange sense of bilocation some people report feeling, the sensation of being in two places at once. This might not just be a feeling, but an actual experience of your consciousness bridging two realities. In those moments, you are both here and elsewhere, aware of yourself in two different scenarios, two different versions of your life. These are rare and fleeting moments, but they are powerful reminders of the multidimensional nature of our existence. They suggest that your soul is more expansive than your current self, more connected than you might realize. Your relationships, too, may carry the imprint of these parallel communications. Have you ever met someone and instantly felt like you've known them forever, even though you've just met? Or perhaps you encounter someone who seems to trigger intense feelings, positive or negative, for reasons you can't explain. These people might be key players in your story across multiple realities. The intensity of your connection could be because you are engaging with a soul who knows you not just in this life, but in many others. These relationships are opportunities for growth, reflection, and understanding, as they bring with them the lessons and love from other versions of yourself. Even mundane moments might be filled with messages if you look closely. Perhaps you experience a strong aversion to a situation, a job, or a relationship, but you can't quite explain why. This resistance could be a sign from another self that knows this path is not meant for you, that it leads away from your true calling. Or conversely, you might feel a magnetic pull towards something that others don't understand, and yet you feel it in your bones that this is right. Trust these feelings. They are the language of your soul speaking across dimensions. Sometimes the message might come through in a quieter, more subtle form, a sense of being watched over, of not being alone, even when you are physically by yourself. This comforting feeling of presence could be your parallel self lending strength, wisdom, or simply companionship across the cosmic divide. In these moments, know that you are part of something vast and interconnected, and that all versions of you are learning, growing, and evolving together. As you begin to notice these signs, you will find that your life feels more aligned, more purposeful. You will begin to see the invisible threads that connect every experience, every choice, every moment. The more you tune in, the clearer the messages become, guiding you to where you need to be. You might find that you no longer feel lost or uncertain, but rather like you are moving along a path that was meant for you all along, a path guided by the wisdom of every version of you that has ever existed. So, when you feel a nudge, a whisper, or a strong push from within, listen closely. Take a moment to quiet your mind, to breathe, and to tune in to what that message might be. Trust that it is coming from a place of wisdom, from a version of you that has something important to share. Let these signs guide you. Let them enrich your life, and let them remind you that you are more than you know, part of a grand design that is constantly unfolding. In this world of infinite possibilities, you are never alone. Every version of you is cheering you on, reaching out, offering love, support, and guidance. Embrace this truth and let it empower you. You are a being of multiple dimensions, living many lives, learning many lessons. And every step you take is part of a greater journey, one that is filled with wonder, mystery, and endless potential. The messages are there, always waiting for you to see them, to hear them, to feel them, and to follow them with courage and an open heart.